Hey there, folks. The other day I was moving my snowmobiles around, getting ready for the season, and I was just kind of going through all my boxes of spare parts and stuff, and I found this choke cable. And I just thought to myself, do I really need this choke cable? And then it still works and everything. I'll keep it. And wouldn't you know, something weird happened. Another sled showed up, and guess what it needs? The choke cable that I saved. What you're looking at is a 1977 Arctic Cat El Tigre 5000. And it is a true 5000, being that it has the 500cc engine up under the hood. But let's take a little closer look at that. So it is a 500, we can see, says 500 down here, but it's not out of a 77. This motor has 14 fins across the head, which means this is a 6 transfer port motor, and it's out of a 78 to 81 5000. So that's good for an extra like 7 horsepower, bumping it up to like 62 stock. But as you can see, this thing ain't quite stock. We're feeding it with dual 44 mil Makuni carbs, and those are being fed by actually a double stack, double pumper fuel pump setup. And for exhaust, we've got dual AEN pipes. And you might have noticed this little bottle here. That's a NITROUS setup. I'm not quite sure how that works yet. We still got to dig into it. There's a bunch of electronics and stuff going on under the dash. But overall, this thing should rip. And interestingly enough, with all of that's done to the motor here, it's still running the stock hex clutch, which I know for some people is just a dreaded thing. We'll have to check it out and see what shape it's in. I've wanted one of these for the longest time. I just love the green scheme on them. And I was really picky about which one that I got because it had to have the tachometer and the cylinder head temp gauges. Being that this is a free air, and especially since this one is super souped up, that's kind of something that, I didn't want to go without. When I was buying the sled, I had to actually deal with two brothers. The first one lived out of state in Illinois, and he's the one that actually owned it. So talking with him on Messenger, he said that the sled ran, but it acted like it was running out of fuel at times, and that he never hit the nitrous at all or never even turned it on. Um, but that he also had a little spark issue at some point, but it got fixed. And so with that information, I went to go look at it. And the second brother, who actually lived on the farm where this was at and I was dealing with, said that it didn't run. He tried starting it on ether, but couldn't get it to go. And that they were having a spark issue and that he couldn't get it to shut off, which I guess is better than having no spark at all. I just checked that there was compression and I didn't try it anymore. So I guess let's dig into it. It also came with a trunk full of goodies and the registration, basically just like pliers and stuff. And yeah, that's the paper for it. And we're looking for spark plug wrenches. So I got the spark plugs out, and first thing I noticed, you can see this one's kind of wet, right? This one is brand new. Like it looks like it's never even been fired. So that's a little concerning, but it also lends into that, they were chasing kind of a spark issue. I'm guessing they thought it would probably falling out. So I'm just going to turn the key on quick here and see if we got fire. Oh yeah, real good spark on both of them. I'm not sure if you can see it on both, but they're both going. Let's see if it'll shut off. So I'm turning the key off now. And no more spark. The first brother wasn't lying when he said that, they got it fixed. So I guess what I'll do is throw this choke cable on and probably put new plungers in the carbs as well, because I know that I'm looking at U82 liquefier. That can cause a headache and a half. Well, taking the choke cables off, I did make a somewhat unfortunate discovery. If we look at the top of this carb, there's some wires laying on it, and this little plug here used to plug into this, and I'm pretty sure that would be the switch for the nitrous. So that would be when you go to full throttle, the top of the slide in the carburetor would hit that and then, you know, shoot your nitrous in. But the tabs on the plugger broke off and the wiring is just all not good. So unfortunately, I think that's going to be a no-go today. So we'll just tuck that back up out of the way and kind of pretend we didn't see that. All right, new choke cable is on. Ignition on. Choke on. New pull. Oh man. Look at that. With those pipes, I thought it'd be a little louder, but I'm not really looking for loud. Man, that thing just runs so smooth. Let's go take it out for a ride. That thing looks mean, and it is just idling so nice. I forgot we got to put some gas in it. I did go to Quick Trip and get some 91 special just for this, because it says to use 91, and I really don't want to blow it up like I did with my liquefier. So. We're not going to go too hard on it today since it's pretty warm out, but just a few runs, see what she's got. That does work. Oh no! We lost spark, I bet. Great. Yeah, keys on. No spark at all. Damn it. What a shame it is. Well, that's a long one. So get a load of this. I'm out here, I got the tractor lights on it. I let it cool off for a couple hours. First pull, let's go back to the shop. So a couple things that we noticed after the inaugural ride. We do have head temperature gauges that work, that's cool. But the lights behind all of the gauges do not turn on. And the tachometer is really jumpy. I don't know if you saw that in the video when I was riding around, but it would jump around and then it pegged all the way over at 10 grand, and I definitely wasn't doing 10,000 RPM. Also, if we look down here, there's a lot of shiny going on underneath the fuel pumps. So it's leaking somewhere in all of this fuel line mess. So, you know, they're not brittle, but they're definitely on the stiffer side. So I think I'm going to go through and reroute and replace all of these fuel line hoses. I'm still going to keep the double stack though. The hex clutch on it, I'm actually really impressed with. It's all really tight. There's no rattling sounds or anything. A lot of times what happens is you get corrosion on the hex shaft, and then that just eats away at this bushing, and what happens is it rocks back and forth and just rattles like a can of bolts. If we take a look at our spark plugs here, if we can focus on them, it's kind of hard to see right now in the light, but they are very, very dark. Normally we'd want to see that like a cocoa brown. Come on. There you go. They're almost black right now. So we know it's running really rich. And I think that's got to do with the fact that we're not running our nitrous bottle here. Nitrous usually adds oxygen to the mix, and without that, your jets are jetted for that, so you'd have less oxygen and more fuel, making your rich condition, as we can see on the plugs. So we're either going to have to figure out how to get the nitrous working, or take and pull a few sizes out of the main jet on the carbs. And of course, we've got that no spark issue. That's kind of our main concern right now that we're going to kind of try and diagnose. Normally, when you've got a sled and it runs for a little bit, gets warm, and then dies out, it's because of your ignition coil right here, or the one on the inside. What happens is they get warm, and then the wires on the inside expand just a little bit, and they touch and short out, so you have no spark. But I don't think that's really the case here. First of all, I rode it around a couple more times after that, and I did get it to reproduce the no spark situation. But it was kind of intermittent. And generally, when you have a bad coil like that, it's after 5-10 minutes of riding. This was happening like after a minute or two. Like you saw earlier, literally, that was my first run down the field with it. So that kind of makes me suspicious that it's not the coil, and there's a way we can test that. So we're going to test spark real quick. You can see I've got the key on, but we don't really know about the kill switch since it's all broke off, and I think that might be having something to do with what we're experiencing here. So let's take a look here. I've already got the spark plugs out, and if I pull it over, I got nothing going on. Now, snowmobiles are really cool in that we can completely isolate the engine from the rest of the sled and see if it's an electrical problem in the engine or in the wiring harness in the rest of the sled. We do that by coming down here to our main engine wiring harness, and all I'm going to do is unplug this little connector here, and that's going to take the rest of the wiring harness on the sled out of the equation. So we're just going to be testing the components on the engine. That would be this ignition coil, the spark plugs, anything in the stator, the CDI, and we'll know if we've got a bad component here or if it's somewhere else. Here's the spark test with that plug unplugged. Lots of spark now. That's great. That means our problem is not in the engine, so not really expensive parts, and we can start looking somewhere else. Now I've gone online and I found the wiring diagram for a 77L Tigré, and what this is going to do is allow us to locate the connectors that we need to unplug and test which component in our wiring harness is bad. I think we're going to start with this kill switch since we know it's already broken. What I think is happening is the little switch inside here is just kind of rotating around and hitting the closed or open position. When it's closed, it's grounding out our spark, and when it's open, it's obviously running. So on our wiring diagram, the kill switch is right here, and if we look close at that connector, we can see there's two browns connected to one side and two blacks connected to the other side, and then the kill switch side should be black and black. So if we come over to the sled, in this jumble here, you can kind of see, I'm thinking it's this one. We've got two blacks coming out and two browns coming out, and there is a brown and a black here, but it's also like spliced and cobbled together. But if we follow this wire up, you can see it's moving there, and that goes up to our kill switch. So I'm just going to unplug this quick. All right, that's it. That's all it should take. And we can see there's some corrosion going on in there too, which probably isn't ideal either. Let's test our spark and reconnect our engine harness. And spark. Lots of spark. So that's awesome. I think we nailed that one right on the head on the first try. How often does that happen? Now all I'll do is, take and kind of zip tie or shove this one out of the way so it doesn't hit our jack shaft and rub and do bad stuff, which is probably how this rubbed in the first place. And then I'll get those fuel lines replaced, and I also want to service the chain case too, because I don't know, we don't know the last time anybody's been in there, and it's good to just check. I got the new fuel line on there, and it's a very nice green color. I think it matches the rest of the theme of the sled pretty well. So check this out. I just got the pipes and nitrous bottle out of the way, and look what's down here. Sled's a lucky penny. Let's see what year it is. Looks like 2001. We'll just put that back down here for good luck. Alright, let's see what kind of goop falls out of here. Ooh. Not as bad as I thought, but we were definitely low. Hopefully our seal is still good too. That's kind of nasty. I'll have to take and get that all cleaned up, but should be good. Now that I got it all cleaned out, I'm going to be using some Klotz chain case lube. This stuff is way better than like the 80/90 gear lube that came in it. And I'm just going to go until it starts running out the bottom. This stuff is nice because it's got graphite in it, and it comes in this nice little bottle to not make a mess everywhere. Even though the sled's looking awesome and ready to go, unfortunately it rained like for the past 3 days and we lost most of our snow. So fingers crossed that we can get more snow, but no more rides for now. So I think with that, that's going to do it for this video. We've got a nice running sled that doesn't leak fuel. The clutch isn't rattling itself apart, and it doesn't shut off on us. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of video, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more. I'll start it up one more time. We'll see you next time.